I think we can just kind of zip past, that first slide, exactly. So, again, mentioned to you before that I am the Informed Delivery Program Manager, so I have worked on this program. It's actually been tested for about 4 or 5 years. We started testing it internally in the Postal Service, and then we rolled it out to customers in May of 2014 in Northern Virginia. And so we've been piloting it for quite some time. And I had the joy of getting on the program in probably June or so of 2015, it must be, and serve as the program manager. So I basically manage all the different work streams that are involved in pulling something like this together. So we have an IT element to Informed Delivery, of course, the information in the background that drives this. We have an engineering component because we have all of our equipment is really managed by our engineering department. We have communications, both for consumers and for businesses. We have user acquisition efforts, because now that we're launched and rolled out, everybody wants us to get a bunch of consumers signed up. We also have reporting and analytics aspect of this, and then mailer onboarding. So a lot of pieces involved in this, and so I tell people I have the joy of doing this from where I live in South Dakota. I worked at Postal Headquarters for about 12 years, so understand the building and how things work there, which enabled me to help launch this program, which is really a huge step for the Postal Service. So it's really something new and digital, right, that we are making sure that we can provide consumers digital aspect to their hard copy mail piece, and we'll talk today about the value not only to consumers but also to you as mailers. So let's talk a little bit more about what it is. You can go to the next slide, Lynn. So just remember that this is a consumer-facing feature, right, for residential households, whether it's a single-family household, an apartment, a condo, doesn't matter. Those folks can sign up for Informed Delivery, and what they're going to see are the scanned images of the exterior of their incoming letter-sized mail pieces. So letters and postcards, again, that go across automated equipment. They have to have an intelligent mail barcode on them. And so we don't take the contents out of the mail. We don't scan the inside of the mail, right? It's just a snapshot of the external mail piece. And basically you can see your images either through a daily email, or you can you have a dashboard. So all of our users that are signed up today have a dashboard, and then there's a certain percentage of them that choose to get that daily email notification, what I call the A-type personality folks, right? So the images that you see there, again, are the most common, the grayscale that most people are going to see and what you're going to see as a subscriber. And then if a mailer participates, you have the opportunity to provide a supplemental content that goes along with your grayscale mail piece. So doing nothing here today, by doing nothing different, if you're sending out mail and it's letter-sized mail, it's being imaged by the Postal Service and it's being presented to these 6.2 million subscribers as grayscale images, right? So we've taken the opportunity to let you actually embellish that mail moment and make it digital if you choose to do so by doing what we call an interactive campaign. So you provide us custom images, generally colorful images. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but a URL that directs the user to that online digital experience. We can go to the next slide. So really what we've created here is a brand new digital channel, right? Doesn't exist, and really no one else has the opportunity to replicate this channel because the Postal Service processes the mail, right? So you have the ability to do these omni or multi-channel campaigns merely just by already sending a piece of mail, which you're already doing. So this technology that we have allows us to provide the daily notification to consumers, again, for their household's mail. So if me and Pam and Amy and all live in the same household, we're going to see all the mail that goes to that mailbox as if each of us are signed up, right? So just like the physical mailbox, so the joy is, as a mailer, you're going to make sure that the person that you actually intend to receive the mail actually sees the mail, right? So I know that probably in here, in most cases, almost in every case, there's what we call a CEO of the mailbox, right? They're the person that gets the mail out of the mailbox. And believe it or not, that person makes business decisions sometimes as to who else gets to see the mail that's coming to the household, right? So if you're the CEO and you like that opportunity, those days are over, right? I no longer get to hide my husband's Home Depot coupon because he spent $200 there last month, right? He gets to see it. I'm busted. No longer do the kids get to say, oh, my report card didn't come in the mail because I saw that it was coming in the mail, and just because they got home earlier and took it out of the mail. So, but as mailers, really the opportunity there for is you to make sure that folks that you intend your mail to go to actually see their mail. Then you have that additional value of actually having eyes on your mail from other household members that you didn't mail to. So maybe that's important for the county to have that opportunity, but more so for retailers and folks that are actually selling a product. Potentially, I see a coupon. Again, I live in a multifamily household, and my husband gets a coupon, and his birthday's coming up, and I can take advantage of that offer because I'm going to see that offer too. So you get these additional impressions that expands the mail moment much beyond just the piece that you're sending. So we can go to the next slide, right? So haven't caught on already, right? It's all about tying the physical mail piece to the digital experience. So you really have this unprecedented opportunity to really reach consumers in a different way that you haven't before, and there is no fee for you to do this. Certainly the Postal Service is considering ways and opportunities to monetize informed delivery campaigns in the future. For example, a year from now, we might have thousands of mailers that are doing informed delivery campaigns. Would a Wayfair pay to be at the top of your email message instead of second or third or fourth or whatever it happens to be? Or would someone potentially pay to have the banner ad, on the bottom of the banner that the Postal Service sends the email? Again, you got to be in the mail, right? Even your campaigns have to be tied directly to the mail piece that you're sending. It's all about keeping the relevancy of hard copy mail. You can never replace the tactile experience of mail in relation to sight and scent and the emotional experience a lot of times. So that's what is extending that and creating this new mail moment by uniting the physical and digital. So the next slide talks to some of the benefits. There's a couple of slides here actually that talk to this. So lower cost per impression, right? So instead of you sending a piece of mail that's costing you, 50 cents or $1 or whatever it happens to be with all of your paper and postage and marketing and those types of things that you have to develop, you're going to spend that same amount of money, but you're going to get all these additional impressions. Then you have these great email open rates. We have Gary, when he talked at the NPF, we had a really good month. We had about 75% open rate. We generally ranged today probably around 72, 73. Different parts of the country, different neighborhoods, you may see different open rates. As a mailer, when you do a campaign, you're actually going to see your specific open rates. But again, overall, you're going to be assured that 70% of those folks that get those emails are opening them every day and watching and looking at them. So multi-channel marketing, the whole concept to generate revenue, cross-sell, upsell, improve retention if you're looking at loyalty customers, or and then certainly maximizing envelope views. If you go on to the next slide, we talk again about the email open rate. So more than twice, probably even close to 3 times what you'd see as an industry average. If any of you do email campaigns, you probably have some type of analytics that lets you see how often they're opened. So I think you would agree that 70% and up is a exceptional open rate. And that's because folks are interested in seeing their mail. And of course, you have the Postal Service's trusted brand. And so even if your mail piece isn't necessarily driving an open rate, you're going to see those types of open rates anyhow for your mail pieces. Multiple impressions, driving responses, that digital access. We're really in the infancy stages of determining what the impact is on return on investment here. But as a general rule of thumb, the more impressions you get, generally the more conversions you get. It's kind of, basic math for data analytics. So again, we're working with some of our mailers that have been testing with us for quite a while to work on some case studies where they might share out some information on their ROI. And then the other thing you're going to get is campaign data. So you have the opportunity, and we'll show you some of the reports that you can get that really gives you a better insight into your mail. So along with all this informed visibility and all this visibility that you're going to have, so you're going to be able to see that your mail piece, left the plant, got to the post office, got processed. You'll see your 918, 919 scans with IMB tracking or tracing to see that your piece was actually at the delivery unit. Then if you tie on your informed delivery information, you'll actually be able to see the information on when that piece was delivered, or when we sent that email to that customer, or when it was posted to their dashboard. Did they open the email? What time they opened the email? Did they click through, and what time they click through, right? So a lot of data that you're going to be able to use. And again, for no additional cost to you, the Postal Service's commitment to doing this is that this general information that we're showing you here today is just part of the added value of the mail experience, and it's a necessary and right thing to do, right? So even if we win back 1 or 2% of that $8.5 billion that's spent on social and digital advertising this year, be a win-win for the Postal Service. So let's talk a little bit about how it works, right? A lot of people are wondering how this all works. How does the Postal Service do this? So the first thing is that you have to sign up, right? You can either sign up on informed delivery at USPS.com. Ryan can sign you up by scanning your barcode on your driver's license. But we do require that you prove to show who you are and that you are at the address that you say you are, right? So you have to be able to sign up. You answer some credit type questions, basically, that indicate, have you lived at these multiple addresses in the last year? Have you had loans with these banks? And that's for, fraud and security protection. Then we mail as image during processing, which is what we've always done. We actually take the images and match them to the delivery points, right? So we talked before, it's a mailbox level view. So it's all based on each of your individual homes or apartments or condos having a unique delivery point in order for you to be able to be eligible for informed delivery as a consumer. So we match those images to delivery points, and then if there's interactive campaigns, that's where we match them up as well as that part of the process. And that's all based on your IMB, the Intelligent Mail Barcode, which is the workhorse behind that. And then notification gets emailed to the user, or they go to their dashboard, and then they get their physical mail piece at their choice. Again, our surveys and studies have shown that this can actually drive customers to the mailbox. We still have some folks were concerned that this was going to detract from the mailbox and the physical piece of mail, and we're not seeing that. Folks are, in some cases, driving them to the mailbox to get their mail pieces. Next slide, Lynn, thanks. So there is no change to mail processing operations, right, with informed delivery. We're capturing images like we always have for over 20 years. We've captured images. We're just now taking those images and using them to provide digital previews of mail to the consumers. So let's talk a little bit more about what they're saying. You saw a little bit of this in the master presentation, the state of the business presentation, but folks are talking about the ability to plan their activities, right? I had a young mother that had a child, a couple of years old. She, works all day long. She wants the ability to see her mail, to know that when she gets home, she's going to have to pay bills. Is there a special going on at her favorite children's store so she can stop there on her way home and take advantage of getting something that she wants for her child. So it's really to plan their activities. This, again, most folks that sign up for informed delivery, the demographic is split across the board. It's all ages. If you look at some of the demographics, again, from our surveys, we don't capture demographic information when you sign up, but from our surveys, it's evenly split. Millennials a little lower because they don't get very much mail yet, right? But all ages and all incomes and ethnicity doesn't matter. None of that matters. It's a value for folks. Our demographic is really folks that are on the go, is really how we define that through all of our customer research. And then visibility and security, right? Unfortunately, it saddens me to hear what the postal inspectors have to say about so many things going on with mail theft and scams and some of those types of things. And even though this was not why the Postal Service created informed delivery, it was really to tie into our daily digital lives. Some folks are really looking at it as the ability to see what's coming to their mailbox, so they can, if they have theft issues, they can utilize that. And then the access while away. So again, I always talk to even if you go on vacation, you put your mail on hold, your mail is still processed and it's still sent to your carrier. Your carrier holds it out at their case, so you can still see your mail. And if you're out of town for a few days, or again, you're not the first one to the mailbox, you're going to have visibility into your mail. So let's go to the next slide. So our user responses here, again, we talked about that before, so I don't need to go over that again in a lot of detail, but consumers just love informed delivery. Now, is every consumer going to love informed delivery or want it? No. Can I say 150 million people are going to sign up ultimately? I doubt it. But there are folks that do, and that's, the market that you're going to be able to reach. So the other thing that's kind of interesting is how self-reported, again, how people access their information. I was kind of surprised because this went down a little bit from where it was the last time we took the survey, but most people are looking at it on their mobile phone. I think a lot of folks, though, are signing up, even though they sign up for their personal and physical address, they use a work email, and they, for those of you that have employees, your employees might be looking at their mail in the morning, but again, with your mailer hat on, it's a good thing. Majority of those emails that are opened at a very high rate are opened in the morning, usually within a couple hours. It's kind of addictive. You're going to find out when you sign up. Next slide. So let's talk a little bit more about the campaign, because that's really what we want to talk about here. So first of all, the thing you need to do an informed delivery interactive campaign is have a mail piece, right? Preferably a well-designed mail piece, but a mail piece that's going in the mail, which most of you do today. We are doing campaigns on letters. We also offer it on flats. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. And we're actually looking at the ability for folks that are shipping packages to be able to do campaigns on them as well, right? Something similar where you'd have the ability to provide a little bit of colorful information or a tidbit about your piece that could potentially drive someone to a digital experience that you want to provide the customer. So then your interactive content. So at a minimum, for you to do an interactive campaign, that little ride-along image, that little green image that's down there, is what is required, a minimum requirement for you to participate in a campaign for on letters and postcards. And that comes along with a URL. So we require that you give us a URL where this is a digital interactive experience, right? So we have some rules and guidelines that you need to follow to participate. Then you can also provide customized content in relation to a representative image. So if you do not want to let let your grayscale mail piece be represented. You could choose to say, oh, I spent a lot of money on a really colorful, lovely mail piece, and instead of having the customer see a grayscale with their address and name on it, I'm going to provide a representative image that is something colorful and bold that, again, it has to tie to the mail piece itself. Has to be branded and tied to the mail piece. So when we see those mail pieces come through, so as a consumer, instead of seeing that grayscale image, you would just see a colorful image. Again, I don't know if any of you, like Joann's Fabrics has been doing some campaigns lately where they show a colorful image. We're still gathering information on what's more effective, to be honest. The ride-along image alone is performing a little bit better than a dual campaign, which is a ride-along and representative image. In some of our consumer research that we did face-to-face, folks did tell us that they kind of like the concept of seeing that grayscale image with their name on it, right? And this is so new to everybody. They want to make sure that it doesn't appear to be spam or something that's not related to the mail. So interesting concept. We kind of thought that the representative image might have a little bit more pull, but it's marginally looking a little bit different there. And then the other thing you're going to give us, the other elements that are critical, right, is the mailer ID that's on the intelligent mail barcode. So those of you that mail, either you have your own mailer ID, which is called a MID, again, our acronym for that, or you may use the mailer ID from one of your printers, right? Your print providers or mailers would also let you use in a shared MID, and in that case, then you have the serial number within the intelligent mail barcode that applies. So I had a customer that's actually doing, I think they have like 22 active campaigns running right now. Okay, it's a landscaping company, national landscaping company. They are running 22 campaigns. They use 3 different mailer IDs, and every single one of those campaigns has, along with the mailer ID, a serial number range that says when to apply that campaign, and within the date when to apply that campaign. So it's all very specific. You get to drive exactly how you want all that to work. So again, these are just some examples. This is another example of what it looks like. This is a good example for flats, right? We do not image and send grayscale images of flat size mail pieces to our customers today. Will we someday? Maybe, right? They want images of their packages, right? So I can see that it may go to that, but we had the opportunity to utilize what we had today with the images of mail, and so that's where we started. But as a mailer, if you're doing catalogs or flat size mail pieces, as long as they have an intelligent mail barcode on them, you have the ability to give us, can you go back to the flat slide? Yeah, that slide. And so flat company would give us that image, and we would, when we see that flat size mail piece go across a piece of automated equipment like a flat sorting machine or an AFSM, we would actually take that scan event that we have, because we still see the scan event, we just don't get the image, and we'll apply that image. Dennis Farley from ESPN has been testing with us for over a year. We don't divulge all of the mailers' names that are testing with us, but he has given us the ability to share that information out. And so he basically gives me a picture of his ESPN magazine whenever it comes out, and we run a campaign on it. So we do have a little bit more limited visibility on flats, and the main reason for that, not all flats go through automated equipment because so many of them are put into carrier route bundles, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if 70-80% of all flat size mail is in a carrier route bundle, so it goes directly to the carrier case. But we're going to be looking at starting ingesting some bundle scans from our friends at Informed Visibility, right? And so we'll have more visibility into the flat size mail as well, and the ability to apply more campaigns. So you'd have to have these 2 elements for a flat size campaign. You can't just do a ride along image because there is no grayscale image of flats. Let's go to the next slide. So talk about who's participating. I took the opportunity to update this slide a little bit, so yours will be a little different from the other folks that are getting this presentation today, because I have inside knowledge of this. We have 55 brands that have participated to date in testing with us for over 300 campaigns. Again, I have probably, I don't know, I might have 30, 40 campaigns running as we speak today, and many in the queue that are coming up as well. So a lot of them are repeat customers, and if they don't get to run their campaign, they are disappointed, right? We have some issues where, we ran into a glitch here or something, and I can't put your campaign in today, and they're very disappointed. And so we're trying to gather some data from those customers so that we can provide you more information on the results of these campaigns. We can see, obviously, the email open rates and the click-through rates, but of course we don't have visibility into conversions, right, which is really what it's all about. So again, average email open rates, we had one mailer that had a really good, so on their ride-along image, you generally want to have a good call to action, and like click here, tap now, shop today, right? Because again, our customers aren't used to seeing this. They see their mail piece, they see this little image below it, they really don't know what to do. For me, I'd probably by mistake, because I can never fumble around with my phone, but we had a customer that had a 6% response rate with a good call to action and a good offer, right? That's all marketing 101. If you don't have a good reason for a consumer to click, they're not necessarily going to click on it. So the next slide just gives you the scenario, right, of we talked a little bit about it earlier. I am at get your daily email notification. It features an ad alerting me. Stop at the retailer on the way home, which is a perfect example for me because where I work, there's much more shopping available than where I live. So I do a lot of my shopping on my way home from work. And so, get from that information in the morning before they even get to the mail piece, they could have that new dress that they're wearing from your store. So let's talk a little bit on the next slide about who in the industry has participated in informed delivery campaigns. No big surprise, the majority, and my apologies, I've talked to my team a few times about changing up some of these colors on here, especially for the little dots there, but the retail trade kind of leads us in having the most informed delivery campaigns, but we've had finance and insurance and professional healthcare, nonprofits, and certainly a lot of our mail service providers are bringing brands to the table as well, right? So either a brand comes to us and then they ultimately go back and talk to their mail service provider because you raise it with the village, right? Or the mail service provider in some cases are bringing the printers, the ad agencies, the folks that induct the mail are a lot of times bringing customers to us as well. These are some examples of email open rates for particular industries. And again, you can see where if you look at some of these results over here, they are consistent with what you would see, or in some cases better than what you would see for click-throughs on similar size banner ads. So we're still trying to figure out the best way to measure the effectiveness of the rate of this because it's really new. It's not quite the same thing as an ad that pops up on Facebook or something else. So the concept of trying to measure effectiveness and the numbers, but generally speaking, that's what you're going to see are, these 0.5% or whatever click-through rates. All right, we can go on to the next one. So for you to participate, basically you just be in the mail like you normally are. You're going to prepare your mailing. You might want to put a little thought into your list before you mail. Let's say you have a loyalty list and you're mailing to, I keep numbers small because to keep math simple. Say I'm mailing to 1,000 people that are on my loyalty mailing list, and I want to give half of them one offer and half of them another offer. Not uncommon, right, for businesses to do that, to understand who you are as a consumer, how much money you bring in for them, and they may give you better, deeper discounts than they do another customer. You'd have to split up your mailing list in advance and make sure that you are able to do 2 separate campaigns with those 2 unique serial number ranges, right, within that intelligent mail barcode. We will be allowing mail piece level campaigns. So literally today, when you do a campaign, you would say, okay, I'm going to send this whole campaign to this whole room, right? Or any informed delivery subscriber that's on the list. Alternately, I can break up my list and I can say I want to give this half of the list treatment A and this half treatment B. This time next year, probably by February or March, you're going to be able to do mail piece level campaigns, meaning that you could literally give every person in this room a separate URL if that's what you choose to do. Right? So that's coming. It's coming very fast. Again, remember this whole rapid pace thing. And then you're going to provide us those elements. We'll talk a little bit about how you can do that. And then you induct your mailing, and then you analyze and gather your insights. So it's really not much more complicated than today. Again, your mail service providers are going to be, you want to engage them initially, because they're going to be the ones that are generally printing those intelligent mail barcodes on your mail pieces and having those ranges that you need to get in order to be able to effectively create those campaigns. So the next slide talks about what kind of data is shared back. So we give you initially up front, you have the opportunity to do what's called a pre-campaign analysis, where you can actually see the density of informed delivery subscribers against your mailing list. So you really kind of need to use an existing mailing list that you just did, because again, people don't store a 11-digit delivery point code in your databases, right? You store zip +4 generally. That those additional 2 digits are what define my house from Pam's house, from Amy's house, right? So we all have those individual delivery point codes. And so you can actually be able to upload a report or upload a list, and it will give you back the saturation numbers. Now, we can't tell you who informed delivery subscribers are. It's a legal and privacy issue. We're not allowed to do that. But we are working to provide you back as much data as possible so you can do this analysis. And some folks were doing this pre-campaign analysis to see if they wanted to participate in doing campaigns. That was a year ago. Today I got mailers coming out of my ears that want to do campaigns, and we're actually working on launching a self-serve mailer campaign portal where you're going to be able to self-serve and just go in and put in all this information yourself. Either again as a brand, as a mail owner, or as a mail service provider. You're going to be able to do that for your customers. Then again, we're going to give you open rates, the percent of emails opened, and also click-through rates. And then there's also some line-level detail behind those other reports. If you go to the next slide. That top one gives you an example of what the pre-campaign analysis is. So you have, let's say you have a list of 100,000 and you upload it into the mailer campaign portal, and it says, okay, out of your list there's 98,000 zip codes that are actually eligible for informed delivery. And then we would say that out of that, 97,000 of them are unique zip codes, because a lot of you mail to more than one person in a household, right? And then we'll tell you the number of subscribers and the percent of subscribers, and then how many of those are email enabled. Because obviously the emails get much more visibility than the dashboard. Our dashboard users generally go to their dashboard, on occasion if they need to. They certainly don't go check their dashboard every single day. So that bottom report there is called the post-campaign summary report. And this report now is going to tell us exactly how many pieces of yours, right? So in this case, if we saw 600,000 pieces of mail, that might have been against a, 5 million piece mailing, right? These are the number of pieces that were actually presented to informed delivery subscribers, either in their dashboard, or we'll tell you how many were in the email. And then we'll tell you your email open rate and then your click-through rate. And then there's also line level detail at the 5-digit behind this report. And that's where you get the information on what time the email was opened and when the click-through happened. Again, I'm not a data analytics person myself, so I can't, and I don't really have time to sit down and imagine how all of you are going to be using this data, but a lot of people are way ahead of me on that already, figuring out exactly how you tie that into, you talk about these omni-channel campaigns, you can literally get some data that says, you know that your customer opened that email at 8 o'clock in the morning and that they click through it at 10:15 or 8:02 or whatever it happens to be. So you'll have that information, which is very valuable. If you go to the next slide, again, just shows you some examples of campaigns. We talked about it. I talked about it with our friends at the county here that, we talk about informed delivery campaigns in relation to marketing mail and direct mail, which you might attribute to more of a product that you're selling. But whenever they send something out through the mail, they're ultimately trying to get a message across to somebody about something, which is really a sale in and of itself, right? So you have an example of, these are just mocked up examples, right? But insurance or retail, any of those can participate. It's the ability for you to use that free real estate around your mail piece that the Postal Service is providing you. If you go to the next slide, it talks about the industries again that can participate. We're actually working with several government agencies now that are interested in doing informed delivery campaigns. Insurance, looking at, you can offer claims submissions or policy bundling, different examples for retail, certainly e-com, telecom, again, the publication industry with ESPN is a good example of a publication industry that's using it as well. All right, we'll go to the next one. So how to submit a campaign. So if I would have talked to you 6 months ago, this story would have been different, but right now, this is where we've morphed into today. There's 2 ways to submit a campaign. The one on the left is through Postal One. So if you're already using Postal One, you're submitting your e-docs, right? Electronic documentation for payment through the Postal Service. That contains all your intelligent mail barcodes and everything in a lot of cases. So if you haven't used Postal One today, I would not suggest that you start out by saying, I want to do an informed delivery campaign and teach me how to use Postal One. It's complicated. Again, we're working on simplifying some of that, but you do need to do a little additional programming. Make sure you use the particular release that we're on, which is 17.2. And today we do still have a gap for images, uploading images. It was a security issue that we ran into. So Postal One is going to be used for more campaigns, more complex campaigns, ultimately mail piece level campaigns. You'll have to do through Postal One, right? There's just no way around it if you're going to do a million different URLs to different customers. So but today we are limiting the folks that anyone can program and do a Postal One campaign. We still do have to limit it though, because we have to do some manual intervention on uploading images, and I've been assured that's going to be resolved by mid-November before our IT freeze, so that will be resolved. The other way that the majority of you would probably use, at least initially to start off, is the mailer campaign portal. So that's also accessible through the Business Customer Gateway. We are just testing it today with our existing brands, right? Those 55 brands that have been testing with us for now, and instead of us manually inputting their campaigns, we're having them put them in themselves. So very exciting to get to that step. Basically self-serve, and all of your reports, your pre-campaign saturation report, your post-campaign reports are all available through the portal. So again, either as a brand, you can put them in yourselves, or in a lot of cases, our mail service providers are offering that kind of one-stop shopping opportunity to conduct campaigns for you or enter them for you. So the next steps, basically, again, we're working on getting all the information out to our sales employees. As of, for the last year, we've basically been saying, bring us a handful of mailers that want to participate, and they've done that, some very large mailers. And now we're going to be spreading the word now that the campaign portal is active, and it will be officially launched in October. You'll see some announcements come out if you get industry alerts or any of that information. And sign up to experience informed delivery as a consumer. The best way for you to understand how this is going to work for your customers is to sign up yourself. And then, visit our mailer website. I think that's on the next slide that we'll see here, but there's a mailer website that has all kinds of information. We also have an email account that with a team of folks that are behind the scenes answering questions if you still have questions. And then, again, just share out your experience here today. So the next slide, the last slide, basically tells you where you can learn more. So the USPS Informed Delivery /campaigns is that URL. You can just type in Informed Delivery for Business on Google or whatever, Bing or whatever your search engine of choice is, and it will bring you to that website as well. We're also doing industry webinars. We started them in July. We've been doing 2 a month, have over a couple hundred people attending each of those industry webinars. That mailer interest form is kind of a thing of the past. We basically, today, if you contact us to do a campaign, we're going to tell you to gear up and get ready, get your material together, all those campaign elements that you need, and take you to the mailer portal so you can input them yourselves. It's a first release of that portal, so there are some enhancements we're looking to make. You might run into a bug or two, but we're working to resolve that issue. And then our USPS Informed Delivery campaigns is our inbox. I used to support all of this one person team here, but that's grown much beyond that and it will continue to grow. So very excited about that. I so appreciate your time. I know, Ryan, you have some prizes to give away and such, so we'll move on to that.
Thank you.
Yep.